Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. To all of you around the world, let's get this party started. Today on a review, it's XGRA, Extreme G Racing Association. This game released on September with an asterisk because PS2 and Xbox got this mid-September 2003, but GameCube didn't get this until November 24th of 2003. I don't know why there was a delay. From everything I've looked into, it doesn't seem like there was even really a reason for a delay, it just kind of was there. But the more you know. This game was made by Acclaim Entertainment, both developed and published. And if you know anything about Acclaim, you know they did a ton of games during this time. They have a level of their standards, some highs, some lows. Let's see how this all goes all together. First off here, the big thing you need to understand is this whole game is really just high-speed racing. It's very fast-paced, it's very go-go-go. The races in surprisingly fast. Most races I was going through would end in just a few minutes. Sometimes if you had races where it's only one lap, I would sit there and time and I'm like, wow, this whole race was literally like 45 seconds. Huh, okay. Like, it's interesting because it's very high speed, very go, 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 get her done, go play more games. Happy day. But it does bring into a question of the problem of, does this game have a level of repetitiveness to it? And I will break that down for you guys so you fully understand. First off here, the whole big premise behind this game is that you're on your bike, you're going really fast. And to a point of really fast is it's 0 to 300 or 0 to 483 kilometers per hour in a second. Like, just 0 to 300 is insane. And the fact that you just do that in a second and you're going insanely fast and you're racing against other players is a fun concept. The one thing about that being an issue is because you're going so fast, if you even mess up your turns even slightly, you just slam into the wall or you crash into something. And so it does take a level of understanding what you're doing before you can actually fully enjoy the game mechanics. With that being said, there is a couple of interesting things about this. If you are going really fast and you're not getting in accidents and everything's going fine for you, if you get up to 750 miles per hour, all sound effects in the game are cut out except item collecting sounds and other riders' taunts, sometimes weapon firing, and in-game music, which is kind of cool because it kind of just immerses you in the factor that you are racing by yourself in that moment in time because nothing else is really interacting with you. I do like that this game kind of borrows from the principles of other games and other companies and other ideas behind its racing mechanics. There is item drops on the ground that you can just pick up to have certain effects occur. And these effects can range from regeneration, handling, speed, acceleration, shielding, so far so on. I will break down those weapons here in a bit. But it is very interesting that the game relies heavily on you are racing to just beat your friends and beat the CPUs and just have a good time. And this game has a level of repetibility to it. There is a full-on story mode to this where you can unlock multiple different bikes and different upgrades and different abilities for your characters to use, which makes co-op play and doing split screen and having fun with your friends more interesting because it adds more to the gameplay elements to it. This game very much wants you to sit there and just throw time into it and keep racing and keep having fun and just going over and over and over again, unlocking all the individual little small things here and there. It's a nice different change. It doesn't just hand you everything in the beginning or put a weird grind wall behind it of making you do weird mini games or weird challenges to unlock things. The game is literally a racing game with guns, but the guns also aren't super heavy involved in the gameplay. Yeah, each bike has a certain gun type to them. And those gun varieties break it down to your motorcycles can either be cannon-based, energy-based, bombs-based, electrical, or rockets. And those are just your primary guns whenever you're going around and you're firing, and that's just how things happen. Your ammo recharges over time of you just driving along and not firing, so it keeps you just in the race. You're just constantly doing something. You can interact with other players by shooting them, damaging their shields, making their bikes weaker. You can slow them down, which is the whole premise of this game, is that it is a racing game, but you are also trying to get to the finish line, which is very important. Secondly, the items on the map, which they are very much not holding back on these items all over the place. They give you a good variety chances of picking up items to use in your races. And these items vary, but it's also important to understand there is a structure to them. So every single person, when you hit the item ball, it will give you the first ability, which is Vampire, which gives you a little green shield and absorbs enemy shields and weapons that are nearby you. It's easy, cheap, it's the first stage of your weapons. But as you go along, you can either use that and waste up the weapon ability slot, and then you start over again, or you can sit there and keep going for these green spheres to unlock more down the road. The weapons break down to Vampire, that forms into Mines, Accelerator, Invincibility, Full Ammo, Rapier, Full Shields, Double Hit, Overlord, and Death Strike. So keep in mind here, you can't just skip ahead in those. You have to individually pick up item bubbles without using your item until you get to the one you want and the one you want to use. And now, I will explain this to you guys in the realest way possible. Death Strike is insanely broken. In fact, it's probably the cheapest weapon in any racing game ever. And let me explain this to you guys. I'm not joking when I say this is cheap. Death Strike is whole thing it does. If there's an enemy in front of you, you use it, you instantly kill the racer. I'm not joking. It removes them from the race. They're just gone. If you're doing a race and there's 8 players in the race and you use Death Strike, there's 7 players in the race. Because the 8th person in the race is just gone. They're not there anymore. When the race ends, it just shows that they've been DQ'd. What? Yeah, you can blow up other racers' cars and take them out of the race with just straight damage, throwing mines, using other abilities, shoot them with your guns, but it takes time. Death Strike, you can literally sit there and just farm up to it and be in second place for most of the race, and then you just have it for first place. You shoot them, take them out of the race, and then you win. What? Yeah, there's a level of smarts about this because you can use Full Shield or Vampire or something to help try to keep yourself alive. But if you get hit by Death Strike, you just die. It's GG. It's over. I love that they added something that will just take someone out of the race instantly because it's kind of a grind to get to it. Sure, in some racetracks, it works out very well. You can just grind up to it very fast and you just take someone out and it's easy peasy. In other races, it's kind of a pain to go for because you need to use abilities to stay in the race. Otherwise, you'll be behind when you have access to it. And if you're in 6th place, taking out 5th place isn't exactly going to help you out a whole lot when you still need to catch back up into the race. So there's a trade-off to it. Yeah, you can go for the super broken ability if you're doing really well in the race, or you can hold off and use other things to help accelerate your victory. Now then, let's get into the weird variety of maps in this game. And I mean weird variety of maps in this game, because there is some questionable maps. For example here, you can race on Mars. No joke. They tell you to go race on Mars. And there's a level of humor to it because they'll tell you how there's definitely have never been any issues with the fact that you're racing on Mars. I mean, besides that one guy that went missing, they still haven't found yet, but that's beside the fact. What? From that to, the Amazon rainforest that is completely decimated. There's no trees, and the area looks really nasty. It's not great. There's a Chinese slums level where it's just decrepit, no government. The town's run by gangs and they tell you it's the most violent place in the world. And it's what? And especially when the fact that this game is based in 2080. I'm I know they're expecting this game to be, hey, it's based off 80 years in the future when it was in development, but still, it's weird that they went to, so extremes. It's kind of odd to me that there's not a single map that feels, really concurrent with the world currently. It's strange. It's a strange development choice. I don't hate it, it just feels odd. And now for another thing that just blows my mind. when you're playing through the story, there's commentators at the beginning of races that will just talk about different things and whatnot. And the whole time, the commentators are kind of just talking crap about each other. It's weird. Like, they keep constantly making jokes to each other, mean comments, and I'm just like, why is this here? Who asked for this? Like, it feels like a strange decision to throw in the game, but I don't hate it. It adds a little comical element to it, but also it's not a great one, if you get what I mean. What can you do? Alright, let's break down the pros and cons of this game. First off here, the difficulty, I really like how they did this style of game. They very much hold your hand and help you learn all the controls, learn all the unique little things, help you figure out which bikes you want to drive, which characters you like. It's a very nice way to have to start it off, especially like helping the player understand the gameplay. That is a smart decision, and I fully approve this. The graphics, this game is very good looking. In fact, it's quite stunning how well done this game just is. Like, look at the gameplay, look at how this just all comes together. Everything looks very well done for a game from this time period, and I love it. I love that. It's a very well done, stylized game. The sound, obviously, it's great. The game has not only its own unique music to it, but there's also a bunch of copyrighted DMCA music that I'm not going to play because, you know, I don't want the YouTubes to be mad at me right now. Yeah. But the soundtrack is great. It absolutely slaps. A 10 out of 10. If you want a good racing game with a good soundtrack, this is for you. 10 out of 10 automatically. The sound effects in this game are also very well done. The sound is just great. There's no real flaws behind how anything sounds. Everything seems right. The track sounds normal. Like, if you're driving on a bumpy track part of the road, it sounds bumpy. If you're driving on a flat spot, it sounds flat. You can hear, like, turns. You can hear the sounds like when you crash into the wall, or like sounds of gunfire, or even like the individual like weapon types being shot from behind you or next to you. You hear those very well, and it's very well done. The speed feels normal for that you're going really fast. If you just turn sharply out of nowhere when you're going 200-300 miles per hour, you're going to crash into a wall because you're going super fast. Like, what can you do? The game handles surprisingly well because it's very touch sensitive, so if you understand how the controls handle, you can play this game really well, and it's a very fun time. I didn't have really many complaints once I figured out how it actually controlled, and it's very kind of smooth and straightforward. It's very well done. The gameplay, all in all, is very hectic. It's very go, go, go. It's very watch out for what's happening. You could be shot at, you could be in danger, there's things to worry about. But all in all, the gameplay feels really good, and like, honestly, this is one of those games that if you have someone to sit down and play it with, I do recommend. It just seems like a fun time to sit down and play with people. Now let's just get into the cons, and honestly, the cons are very... You'll guys will understand in a second. So, in this game, whenever you're racing and you pass someone or you're being attacked by an opponent, a little video transition will pop up on the screen showing exactly what happened. Where you pass someone or you attacked someone or someone passed you or something like that, it just pops up on the screen, and it's not like it's blocking a huge chunk of the screen, it's in the corner, but it just like pops up out of nowhere some of the times. And sometimes you'll be sitting there like, going around a corner and there's two people that are right by you, and it will pop up both their videos back to back, and I'm just like, I didn't do anything to you, why are you yelling at me right now? Like, okay, I get it. Like, it just feels weird how just annoying it is. It just feels very unnecessary, like weirdly unnecessary. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea, because it just throws pointless annoyance on the screen. And then, but also, behind the point of a pointless annoyance and just things that kind of irk me, why are there this weird, like, inappropriate taunts and cursing in this game? Like, it just feels out of nowhere. Like, yeah, it's a racing game, it's made for teens, but, like, it tries to be, like, edgy and, like, mature. That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really flow well with the gameplay or how the game acts. It just kind of feels out of nowhere. I don't know. It's weird nitpicking things. All in all, though, surprisingly enough, I'm gonna give this game an 8 out of 10 fins. Like, the game is really well done. The gameplay is fun. It's very well thought out. Yeah, my cons are, language, between, like, the cussing and, like, the bad jokes and, like, the weird transition things being annoying. But, like, those are minuscule issues that, all in all, won't affect gameplay for most people. Most people won't even care. Sometimes when you just get used to the transitions, you kind of just forget that they're on the screen anyways. So it just flows well. It's very fun. The racing's great. There's a huge variety of bikes. There's a huge variety of weapons. The characters are fun to play as. They all have their own unique personality to it. I think this is just a really well-made racing game. It's just not like something super traditional. It's just its own unique thing. And I love it. And that's my thoughts, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just a great game. And if you are interested, I highly recommend trying it out, playing with friends, playing by yourself. Just give me your thoughts. Tell me down below what you think, guys. Until next time, adios. Bye!